It was unfurled with the revelation of the Holy Quran came emancipation for every man. The dawn of the new world. Oh, the light, surely it was unfurled with the revelation of the Holy Quran came emancipation for every man.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome on this auspicious occasion to the Imam Ali conference. Before we launch into formal proceedings, I will kindly ask Maulana Sayyid Reza Haider to start the day with recitation from the Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العدوان والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم على صلاتهم يحافظون أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم إنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Muhammad. छोटे में बोल सकते हैं आपकी मर्जी.
मेरी इंग्लिश तो इस काबिल नहीं कि मैं इंग्लिश में तर्जुमा कर सकूं. किताब से देख के पढ़ रहा हूं, फिर भी प्रोनाउंस अगर उसमें मिस्टेक हो जाए तो आपसे पेशगी अपोलोजाइज कर रहा हूं. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. Successful indeed are the believers who are humble in their prayers and who keep aloof from what is vain, and who are givers of poor rate, and who guard their private parts except before their mates or those whom their right hand possess, for they surely are not blameable. But whoever seeks to go beyond that, these are the that exceed the limits, and those who are keepers of their trusts and their covenant, and those who keep a guard on their prayers. These are the who are the heirs who shall inherit the paradise. They shall abide therein. And certainly we created man of an extract of clay. That we made him a small life germ in a firm resting place. That we made the life germ a cloth. Then we made the cloth a lump of flesh. Then we made in the lump of flesh bones. Then we clothed the bones with flesh. Then we caused it to grow into another creation. So blessed be Allah, the best of the creators. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Thank you very much, Maulana Sahib, for your introduction to the program and the recitation of the Quran. Continuing with the formalities, I would like now to introduce to you Brother Wajahat Mirza, who is the President of Idara Jaafferiya, who would like to welcome you all to the conference.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. It's my pleasure to welcome all the delegates and the guests to Imam Ali conference today. Some of you had to travel from faraway places. I am sure we will all benefit spiritually from this day. This Islamic institution is the oldest and is the mother of all institutions in Britain. Its building is over 100-year-old and was purchased by Idara Jaafferiya over 10 years ago. Let me tell you about our Idara. It started approximately 30 years ago from the basement of a house, progressed slowly but surely, and based on basic principles of Islam. We follow the teachings of our Prophet Muhammad, Quran, and our 12 Imams, the first of which, Hazrat Imam Ali alayhi salam, the greatest of all Imams, is recognized all over the world. And it is for this reason that we have gathered here today to celebrate his birth. This Idara had the privilege of the visits of many great poets, learned scholars of Islam. You will have the benefit of listening to some of them today. I have no doubt that we will all benefit from their kalam. It's a pity we couldn't have more of them coming today. The constraints were because of the timings. We have so little time and so much to say. Many thanks to the organizers, young and old. Some of them were as young as 8 years old. May God bless them all and their parents. Many thanks to all the delegates again and the participants who have made it possible for us to have this day. Now I ask Brother Shabazz to continue with the proceeding now.
Which I'd be grateful if you could take on board. So, turning to the reason why we're all here, to celebrate the wiladat of our first Imam, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. I'm sure you'll agree that after the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself, no other figure in Islamic history is held in such high esteem by all Muslims as Ali ibn Abi Talib. The cousin of the Prophet, he was the first man to accept the new religion. The Prophet himself gave his own daughter, Bibi Fatima, to him in marriage. He was also brought up under the guardianship of the Prophet himself and was thus in a unique position to speak with authority of the beliefs, fundamental concepts, theories, practices, principles, and ideals of Islam, and to interpret the Quran and the Sunnah of the recipient of the divine revelation. It is important to realize that during his lifetime, Imam Ali held an elevated position in the eyes of almost all of the community, not just his own partisans. Hazrat Ali is reported to have said, Umar al-Khattab, the second caliph, is reported to have said, Hazrat Ali is the best of all judges of the people of Al-Madinah and the chief of the readers of the Quran, and no higher tribute can be made. As a political leader of the Islamic community, Hazrat Ali's position in all matters was to ensure that the universal principles which had been revealed in the Quran should be put into practice. No consideration of expediency could change him from his high standards of morality. The cornerstone of Hazrat Ali's policy was to create an ethically good and just society composed of religiously righteous men with a keen and vivid awareness of God. His view of society was based on the Quranic principle of enjoining what is good and forbidding evil. Indeed, for a Muslim, Hazrat Ali's state and administrative policies are a faithful elaboration for application of the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. We find in them universally applicable principles of economic and social justice and the sound basis for harmonious relations among all men. To Hazrat Ali, the privileged and the deprived, the strong and the weak, the poor and the rich are all to be treated with equality and justice. That is some of the great attributes of our first Imam. I'm sure you'll find that throughout the day, the program itself will reveal the high esteem in which obviously we all hold our great Imam. And I will leave that part of it to our speakers and the rest of the conference program. So, inshallah, we will try and keep to our timetable. I'm sure you have all the program there. As a matter of introduction, can I now formally launch the program with our first speaker. I won't be giving details of our speakers individually. You'll find the profile that we have done in your booklet. We'll give you enough brief background information regarding our speakers, and hopefully that will facilitate us continuing with the program on its own merits. So can I please ask you to welcome our first speaker, Brother Mahmood Tatu, who will be speaking on the life of Imam Ali. Salawat.
I take refuge in Shaitan. I take refuge in Allah from Shaitan, the outcast. I begin in the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Mercy-giving. Salamun Alaikum. It is Friday, the 13th of Rajab, 23 years before the date of Hijrah, in the 30th year of Amul Fil, the year of the elephant, or it is the 25th of May, 600 AD, in the city of Makkah, just around the house of God itself, the Kaaba. Eyewitnesses report to see a lady coming and circumambulating the Kaaba. And they hear the lady say, "O Allah, I believe in you and the prophets and the books that you have sent. And I believe in Prophet Abraham who had built this house on your command. And for the sake of that Prophet Abraham, and for the sake of the baby in my tummy, in my womb, please make the birth of this baby to come less painful for me." Eyewitnesses then report on hearing this prayer to Allah, the house of Kaaba itself splits open and the lady walks into that house of Kaaba. Immediately the walls seal again, and for 3 days and for 3 nights they tried to open it but could not. And the Prophet himself tells the people, "This is a miracle of Allah, do not even try to open it any further. When the time comes, the walls will open themselves again." The lady is no other than Fatima, the daughter of Asad. When she goes into that Kaaba, she gives birth to a baby boy. When she comes out of the tummy, the baby boy is in prostration for 3 days and nights with his eyes closed. On the 4th day, the Prophet is waiting outside the house of the Kaaba. The wall suddenly split open and Fatima comes out with a baby boy, and the Prophet takes the baby boy from the hands of the lady. Immediately the baby boy opens his eyes and says salams to the Prophet and praises Allah. For that is the day indeed, the holiest and the purest, the most pious, the most knowledgeable, the most humble of all. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam is born into this world. A child at the age of 5 who is now fostered not by his father but by his uncle, the Prophet himself. At 5 the Prophet comes and takes the child and fosters Ali into his own home. And he grows up under the care of the Prophet from that day on till the day the Prophet dies in the lap of Ali. The guidance, the Quranic revelations that have come are all in the shadow of Ali through the Prophet. When we try and look at the service that the Imam Ali has given to Islam, we can but stay here forever. Let us take a snapshot of those services and see who was it who protected the Prophet in the early days of Islam. When the children of the unbelievers wanted to come and harm the Prophet in the guise of children playing, it was that child Ali who was protecting the Prophet also in the guise of playing against the other children. When Ali grows up, when the people, the unbelievers now come and try and kill the Prophet at night when he tries to sleep, who acts as a decoy for the Prophet but Ali and sleep in his bed? The strongest bodyguard the Prophet ever had was Ali. When the Islamic government in Medina is now established, who drafts the treaties of all those constitutions and the letters and the rules of government? None but Ali. Who writes the letters of invitations to all the other rulers in Byzantine, in Persian, in Rome, in Abyssinia, to India but Ali? And who, when the revelations are revealed to the Prophet, records all the Quranic revelations? None but Ali. And who, after the death of the Prophet, sits and compiles chronologically the whole of Quran, and then gives a commentary and introduces the science of tafsir, the interpretation and the commentary of Quran? None but Ali. And who, when he finally takes over the rulership of the Muslim Ummah, delivers just, impartial and social justice to one and all, without fear or favor? None but Ali. Who in his lifetime could deliver such knowledge of lectures, sayings, and all the sermons that are delivered that have baffled scientists until today in the depth of that knowledge? None but Ali. And who was that brave person when the population and the public of the Ummah now come and beseech Ali to take over the rulership? Who takes over that in that most trouble of time? None but Ali. These are the services that Ali has given to Islam. His bravery knows no bounds, for the Prophet, in almost each and every defensive battle that he had to take against the unbelievers and against the believers, he always had Ali as the standard bearer. During the lifetime of the Prophet himself, when Ali is just but 24 years old, at the prime of his youth, in the Islamic government of Medina in the second year after Hijrah, a battle that now occurs where the Prophet has to defend the principles of Islam against the unbelievers. 80 miles from the city of Medina, at a place called Badr, who does he take but Ali as the standard bearer of the army of the Muslims? Again, a year later on, when Ali is 25, again between Medina and Mecca at the battle of Uhud, who does he take but Ali? When all the Muslims of army of the Muslim now try and actually come to the Prophet and try and isolate him. Who comes at the rescue of the Prophet but Ali? Nearer to the home of Medina, in the battle of the Khandaq, the battle of the trench, and the battle of the Khaybar, who is it that comes and gives a decisive victory for the Muslims? And away from the city of Medina, at the age of 30 years of Ali, at the battle of Hunain between Taif and Medina, and at the battle of Taif itself, Ali is the one who carries the flag of Islam and defends it in all its valor. Even after the death of the Prophet, an old man now, Ali is 58 years old when the battle of the camel is fought in the city of Basra. Ali takes the flag again and brings victory to the Muslims. At the battle of Siffin, at the age of 58, Ali goes and takes the flag. At the age of 59, in the battle of Nahrawan, it is Ali who comes again and takes the flag and brings the victory to the Muslims. There would have been no valor for Ali had he not been in the shadow of the Prophet. Indeed, Ali is the only one who has distinctive associations with the Prophet that no other companion, no other Muslim can claim to have. The first ever male, when the Prophet comes to his house to declare his divine call, Ali is the first one who gives his support to the Prophet. When the family gathering 3 years on is now gathered to tell them about the divine call, publicly Ali is the only one to stand up and give public support to the Prophet. Who but marries the only daughter of the Prophet but Ali? When the order comes out of the Prophet, it is now time to close all the doors that lead into the courtyard of the mosque except the Prophet and except Ali's. And then who carries the standard bearer of the flag in all the battles except the battle of the expedition of Tabuk except Ali? When the Prophet goes to the battle of Tabuk, whom does he leave as his deputy in Medina? Again Ali. When he goes to the Kaaba itself to demolish the idols, who does he put on his shoulders to demolish the highest and the biggest of the idols? None but Ali. And when it came to the challenge of the imprecation at Bumbahila, when the order goes out, bring yourselves and ourselves, who does it take as the self of the Prophet but Ali? Such distinctions cannot be associated to anybody else but Ali. After the death of the Prophet, when the public now turn against the divine call to make Ali the Khalifa, Imam Ali, during that period of 25 years on, does not waste a moment of opportunity to give guidance, to give advice whenever called upon. All the sciences are now introduced by Imam Ali during the 25 years. And indeed, when the public now come and beseech him, in the year therefore 25 years after the death of the Prophet, where the population has now become corrupt, the government practices have now become corrupt, they come and beseech Ali, please Ali, save us from this corruption that has now besieged us after the death of the Prophet. Ali now takes up the government and he comes up with 3 plans on his manifesto. The first one is to institute an Islamic government, to remove all governors not worthy of the Islamic offices they are holding. He came up with that pledge, and the other pledge he came up with, that after the 25 years of corrupt government and financial mismanagement, he was now going to introduce a fair and social justice of all the treasury and the chancellorship that there was there. And finally he says, when I come to take over the rulership, I will introduce social justice on an Islamic scale. These 3 conditions, if agreed by you, then I will take on the leadership. He does indeed come and take on the leadership. When he comes and brings these Islamic movements, he of course faces opposition. The Imam therefore now has also, within his short period of the rulership, got to fight not only the people who are within, who are trying to oppose the movement of Islam, but against established enemies of the people of Islam. Therefore, now we find when one governor refuses to give his allegiance to the new rulership, to the new Khalifa of Ali, Imam is forced to now take on by force this governor so that he should relinquish his governorship in the city of Damascus. While he's now trying to go and take care of this problem, he is now confronted by a rebellion from within the movement. A rebellion that ends up in the Battle of Basra, where he now comes and fights this battle again at the forefront, and Ali wins the battle victoriously. But after the winning of the battle, Ali shows the world the magnanimity of victorious army, how they should behave to those who are defeated. When that is done, he now goes to the battle of Siffin against the governor of Damascus, who refused to recognize the government of Ali. The battle ends in a stalemate by arbitration, again deceived by people from within Ali's side. And Muawiyah takes full advantage of this one. It ends in a stalemate, and the rebellion from the movement of Ali, the rebellions, the Kharijites, now come along and tell Ali, you should have not arbitrated in the first place. And this is therefore then Ali who comes back and he says, you are the one who forced me into arbitration. I was the one who told you which arbitrator to choose, yet you do not want it. It is these rebellions themselves who now choose an assassin, so that on the 21st of Ramadan, the year 40 AH, at the age of 63 years old, the valor of Ali now dies from this world. We can see Ali in a snapshot. We can see that the humility and the sciences that he brought to this world can never be equal to this day. And there can be no question of people saying, how come Ali could not rule at the time when he wanted most? In the 25 years when he was denied the office of rulership, he managed to impart so much knowledge and wisdom. And when he was in office for 4.5 years, despite the inner and the outer distractions that he had, he managed to establish social justice, Islamic practices, regardless of social rank or regardless of wealth. There can of course be no more better personality than Ali, for whom we rejoice today. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother Datu, can I thank you for getting the program off to such a resounding level of expectation, and thank you very much for your effort in setting the background to the life of our first Imam. Next, can I please invite to speak to you one of our younger brothers from the community who has played a major role in the Discover Islam program, which has now been going on for nearly 2 years, and who has very much played a very influential role in creating a spirit of brotherhood amongst the youngsters of our community. His name is Brother Safdar Jaaffer. Some of you will be familiar with him, and therefore I would ask Safdar to continue the program with his topic, an embodiment of the youth.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المختار النبي الأمي العربي المكي المدني القرشي الهاشمي العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد والمحمود الأحمد أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. When a speaker has the opportunity to speak at a conference that is organized to remember a personality, the speaker is supposed to know that personality. So you can imagine the difficult task that I have here at Imam Ali conference, because I do not know Ali ibn Abi Talib. I do not know Imam Ali alayhi salam. When I say that I know a person, there are two meanings to that. The first meaning is when I say that I know you by face, I know you by your name, I know you by your address. The second meaning of knowing a person is when you say that you know that person's thinking, his mind, his philosophy, his far-sightedness, his behavior. That is the second meaning of knowing a person. If Salman Muhammadi admits that I do not know Ali ibn Abi Talib, then what can you expect from me? But when Discover Islam approached me, and when they told me that I have been honored to talk here, the subject that fitted me most was Imam Ali alayhi salam, an embodiment of the youth for the youths to emulate. As a young person myself, and Discover Islam is also an organization of the youths, by the youths and for the youths, and it is they who have organized this conference here, and they have worked hard to organize this conference. So I thought that I should share some of the qualities of Ali ibn Abi Talib as a youth and what lessons he has for us here today. The thing that fascinates me and motivates me today in this century is the fact that Islam is the fastest growing religion on this planet Earth. There are 1,200,000,000 Muslims in this world. The United Nations were concerned about that. They were concerned at the increasing population of the Muslims. So they carried out a computer simulation to project the population of Muslims 65 years from now. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, my elders, it is with great pride that I announce the results of the United Nations survey. 65 years from now, assuming not a single person converts to Islam, 1 out of 2 people born in this world will be born Muslims. It is the responsibility of the youth of today to ensure that 1 out of 2 people born Muslims become good Muslims. And the way that we can move forward to become good Muslims is to look at the life of no other than Mawlai Muttaqiyan Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salam. Youth has been described to be the state of being young, fresh, vigorous, representing new tendency, movement, always eager to march forward and never thinking to retreat. In other words, it can be fairly stated to signify knowledge, power, strength and energy. Mirza Asadullah Ghalib very beautifully describes a youth in his shairi. He says, रगों में दौड़ते फिरने के हम नहीं कायल, जब आंख ही से न टपका तो वो लहू क्या है. I do not ascribe to the flow in veins. What sort of blood is it if it cannot drip from the eye? This is the description he gives to a youth. Imam Ali alayhi salam has described a human being to be a living corpse if he does not possess the traits of a youth. The basic recognition, this is my first point. The basic recognition of a youth is dependent upon the type of literacy achieved. The first and foremost responsibility of every young person is the intellectual responsibility. Brothers and sisters, my elders, we are living in an environment today that is moving fast with science and technology. Let us look at the life of Mawlaya Kainat. Here is an example of Imam Ali alayhi salam and his knowledge. He himself was a living encyclopedia of learning, about whom the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Aliyun Babuha." I am the city of knowledge and Ali is the gate. In his sermons, in his letters, in his utterances collected a concise but comprehensive book of Nahjul Balagha, the peak of eloquence. He indicates there that there was not a topic on which Ali could not express himself. His judgment on penal, civil, commercial laws, proposed solutions to fiscal and economic problems. His psychological discussions, his advices, his letters to contemporary rulers, and his addresses on jihad have become imperishable classics. In Nahjul Balagha, Ali ibn Abi Talib tackles each and every subject. He talks about science, he talks about anatomy, he talks about physics, he talks about astronomy, he explains and describes the qualities of animals, he talks about peacocks, he talks about bats. What subject has Ali ibn Abi Talib left out from Nahjul Balagha? Young people, it is an appeal to you. Go out in this world, take the knowledge, take whatever knowledge you can gain, because Ali ibn Abi Talib has set an example for the youth of today, and for the youth of yesterday, and for the youth of tomorrow. In fact, talking about knowledge, Ali ibn Abi Talib said that your supremacy over others is in proportion to the extent of your knowledge and wisdom. Young people, this is the first appeal on Imam Ali's conference, the intellectual aspect that a youth has to consider. Number two, youth indicates movement. Ali alayhi salam was the pioneer of a movement which aimed at rejuvenating the ethical life of Muslims. He brought in moral laws at a time when morality was shaken to its foundations by Muawiyah and other opportunists. Maulana Maududi rahmatullah alayhi writes in his book Khilafat wa Mulukiyat that the biggest danger to Islam was the Khilafat of Uthman, because it is he who appointed Muawiyah to take power, and as a result, for the first time in the history of Islam, a concept of kingdomship came into existence which never existed in Islam. It is the sunnah of Muawiyah that today the governments of the Middle East are following. It is this Muawiyah who brought in the first concept of the kingdomship. You can imagine the difficult times that Ali alayhi salam had to face to stop this. Nepotism, corruption, bribery were at its height. Imam Ali alayhi salam is facing all these odds, but he is prepared for that challenge. He is prepared for that challenge. And when he starts losing popularity, because he does not give special favors, Ali said, I am not here to give special favors to people. I will base the people on their merit. At that time, Imam Ali found enemies over there. The Orientalists today write that Ali was the best judge. He had the best knowledge. He was the bravest person. He fought in all the battles except Tabuk, as Brother Mahmoud mentioned. Hazrat Ali was in the forefront in every angle except one. This is what they write, except one. He was weak at politics. He was a weak ruler. This is what they say. The only answer that I can give to them is that Ali never compromised with the truth. When he saw that things are going in the wrong way against Islam, he spoke out openly. He said, this is wrong. If he lost popularity, he did not care, because Rasulullah said that Ali is with Haqq and Haqq is with Ali. Wherever there is a truth, wherever you want to see the truth, you look at Ali ibn Abi Talib. There lies the truth. The ayat of the Quran, Qul ja'al haqq wa zahaqal batil, innal batila kana zahuka, that the truth has come and the falsehood has vanished. This ayat was revealed at that time when Imam Ali was destroying the idols in the Kaaba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us something over here. He says that Ali ibn Abi Talib is the one who is establishing the truth, and it is Imam al-Zamana who will come and finally destroy the evil from the society. In fact, looking at that movement of Imam Ali, in his famous letter to his appointed governor in Egypt, Malik Ashtar, is considered to be a gospel of the principles of administration. This said letter is also considered to be the thesis on the higher values of morality. That letter is so powerful that Imam Ali wrote to Malik Ashtar that Marhum Rashid Turabi says, Marhum Rashid Turabi in one of his majlises said that when Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah formed Pakistan in 1947, the first thing he told his cabinet was that you must read the letter Amirul Mu'mineen Ali wrote to Malik Ashtar if you want to be the future leaders of Pakistan. But unfortunately that was not to be so. In this letter he writes, whoever wants to be a leader and guide should educate himself before educating others. Before teaching morality to others, he should improve his own morals and character. That is the letter that Imam Ali wrote to Malik Ashtar. The third point, youth signifies insignia of liberty. Ali alayhi salam demonstrated that liberty and tolerance go together. As a ruler, he possessed these two sublime qualities. He considered tolerance and liberty to be the birthright of all, and he granted unqualified liberty of speech and action to his subjects. Maulana Maududi again in Khilafat-ul-Mulukiyat writes that today the Western world talks about freedom of speech. He said there is no better example in history than in the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam, when in the mimbar of Kufa he sits there giving his sermon. The Kharijites rush in and shout and abuse at Ali ibn Abi Talib. When the followers of Imam Ali go and stop these people, Imam Ali tells them, do not stop them, they have the legitimate right. Let them say what they want, for I, Ali, know that I am in the right. And when a person is right, he does not fear freedom of speech. He will not fear freedom of speech. In fact, Imam Ali alayhi salam says that only such person can establish a divine rule who, where justice and equity are required, will neither feel deficient nor weak, and who is not greedy. These were the qualities. And as a result, he also won a lot of enemies. The enemies respected him. Muawiyah, it is reported that once somebody was in the darbar of Muawiyah, and when he started talking about some of the virtues of Ali, Muawiyah, the enemy of Ali ibn Abi Talib, it is reported that he cried. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Moving to the next point, describing the qualities of the youths, an embodiment of the youth for youths to emulate. Courage, eagerness to march forward, and never thinking to retreat are the main attributes to be possessed by the youth of today. History of Islam is replete with instances of Imam Ali's courage and determination. Added to his physical power were the qualities of mind and spirit that contributed still further, with which he came to be held by the rank and file of the enemy forces. In fact, Imam Ali alayhi salam, even till today, is remembered in a country like Pakistan. When the army marches forward, they chant saying, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, because they know that the spirit of courage lies in the name of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And the highest award that a Pakistani or a non-Pakistani can achieve in Pakistan is Nishan-e-Haidar. It is a medal awarded specially to courageous people by the government of Pakistan. It is named after Haidar. Ali ibn Abi Talib, while going to fight Marhab in the battle of Khaybar, said, Anallazi sammatni ummi Haidara. I am the one who was named Lion Haidar by my mother. He was proud about his bravery. But there is a balance when I say somebody is brave. He could be brave physically, but what about the spiritual aspect? The beauty of Ali is that he could connect both. With the qualities of mind and spirit, Ali alayhi salam demonstrated that a person can be courageous and not reckless, valiant but not vengeant. He proved that a warrior fighting for a just and noble cause can have a full control over his faculties and show nobility of character even whilst fighting. The best example is that in the battle of Khandaq, when he is about to kill Amr ibn Abdewad, the staunchest enemy and the strongest enemy, about to kill him. Nobody else is there prepared to fight. Where Rasulullah says, is there anybody to fight Amr? Everybody retreats. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, Ya Rasulullah, I am going forward. Rasulullah puts a turban round Ali. He says, Ya Allah, you protect Ali. I leave Ali in your hands. Imam Ali marches forward. When he is going to fight Amr ibn Abdewad, Amr says, Ya Ali, why do you fight me? Your father Abu Talib was my friend. I don't want to fight you. Ali ibn Abi Talib replies that Amr, it is you who should not fight and accept Islam. Because if I win, I will go to Jannat. Even if you kill me, I know that Shahadat, martyrdom is guaranteed for me. But you have to lose in both instances. Amr goes and fights Imam Ali. Imam Ali throws him down. The Zulfikar is about to kill Amr. Imam Ali is on the body of Amr, about to kill him. And Amr, helpless now, spits at the Imam. Imam Ali retreats. He does not kill him. The companions of Rasulullah say, Ya Ali, it is the best opportunity to kill the staunchest enemy of Islam. Kill him. Why did you go back? Ali ibn Abi Talib replies that when I was going to kill him at that time, it was for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he spat at me, it was a personal insult. Had I killed him then, I would have killed him for my personal reasons. I am there controlling my power of anger. Once I have overcome my personal anger, I will go take the name of Allah and kill him for the sake of and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The aged, the poor, and the suppressed always look forward towards the youths for assistance and protection. This is another quality to be possessed by a youth. Ali alayhi salam, during his lifetime, repeatedly stressed upon the belief that through the feelings of sympathy and responsibility, a person should always assist others and help to promote the general good. Service to fellow human beings formed an integral part of his life, and he set practical examples aimed at inculcating the virtues of service to mankind. Imam Ali alayhi salam affirmed that every human being has a claim on the interest of every other human being, khidmat-e-khalq as they say, and in doing so he endeavored to establish a brotherhood of mankind. Time and again Imam Ali urged men to achieve perfection by doing good deeds and exhorted men not to forget their responsibilities towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their fellow human beings. In fact, it is reported that after one of the battles, when Imam Ali is mounted on the horse, somebody asks Amirul Mu'mineen, Man Islam? What is Islam? Ali ibn Abi Talib replies that Ata'atu lillah wa shafqatu ala khalqi, that Islam is to obey Allah and to help the humanity. The balance between the two. In fact, Imam Ali as a Khalifa, at night, after distributing wealth among the poor, he sweeps the floor of Baytul Mal as Khalifatul Muslimin. Today, people who say that we want Khilafat, I ask them, have you got example of Ali ibn Abi Talib's modest life? Where he goes to Baytul Mal, he sweeps the floor and he says that, Ya Allah, I as the Khalifa, I have strived my level best to ensure that none of my subjects are deprived of their rights and none of them go to bed with an empty belly. Finally, youths are recognized for being well balanced and noble in character. In Islamic terminology we say taqwa, piety. In the words used to describe this trait, piety, taqwa is often described to mean the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But ulamas will correct me if I am wrong, that taqwa should be described to mean to bear in mind the presence and pleasure of Allah at all times. And the example is that of Ali ibn Abi Talib. We find that today the youths have got two faces. When they are at university, there is another face. When they come to the mosque, they have another face. When they are out in the public, they have another face. When they come and sit between mu'mineen, they have got another face. But the example from the life of Ali ibn Abi Talib shows that a person, whether he is out or inside, whether he is with the family or outside, he is one and one with the fear and in the mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching him. Ali demonstrated to the world that this principle can be effectively adopted in all walks of life. That is why he is addressed today as Imamul Muttaqeen, the leader of the pious. whether it be a mosque or a bazaar, whether it is a battlefield or home, Imam Ali showed to the people that piety can be adopted without any hassle. The prophets and the Imams, the Ma'sumin alayhi salam, have been sent to this world not as superhuman beings, they were not super, but as human beings to set practical examples for people to follow. Ali alayhi salam has been such a person, setting examples as an embodiment of youths for youths to emulate. With reference to Imam Ali alayhi salam, an Urdu poet has rightly stated that आसान नहीं है मारिफते नफ्से मुस्तफ़ा, आसान नहीं है मारिफते नफ्से मुस्तफ़ा, लाखों भटक गए हैं ये ऐसा मकाम है. It is not easy to recognize the soul of Mustafa. Scores have gone astray in trying to comprehend his status. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Salawat. Thank you, Brother Safdar. MashaAllah. Once again, a resounding insight into the embodiment of the youth for our youth of today in Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. This acts as a very appropriate link that the youth of the community will now, in their own way, contribute to the conference. They will be reciting some sayings and poems which they have prepared themselves on our first Imam, and inshallah I hope that all that Safdar has talked about during his lecture will come through the spirit which the youths of our community will show you today. So I would like to ask, first of all, Shabbar Qasim, followed by Muhammad Damani, Abbas Hassan and Sajjad Asharia, to come forward and in their own way present to you their contribution to this conference. First of all, I'd like to introduce to you Shabbar Qasim.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Brothers, sisters and respected elders, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salawat. A very brave man was Ali, the lion of God, the Prophet's wasi. His father was the chief of the clan. He was a good and pious man. His mother was entirely free from blame. Fatima bint Asad was her name. His cousin the Prophet was brought up by these two. Children they'd had, quite a few too. In Kaaba, our first Imam was born, near the very early hours of dawn. When his eyes opened for the very first time, he was met with the Prophet's face sublime. The Prophet wished to adopt Ali to relieve his guardians of responsibility. Once the Prophet had a feast with a tiny amount of things to eat. Some meat, some bread and some milk to drink filled the appetite to the brim. But the food remained the same as before, not any less, not any more. The invited men were from his kin. He wanted them to repent their sin, advising them to accept the faith and helping him to propagate. When the Prophet asked if they would, only Ali wholeheartedly stood. Gradually more people chose Islam so they might be free from every harm. It was of course for their very own good, not only in this world but afterwards too. The Quraysh had troubled the Muslims for a long time now. How they survived, only God knows how. The Prophet's life was now at stake. Ali thought and acted straight. He did something very brave, which could have led him to the grave. For on the Prophet's bed Ali slept, while into the night the Prophet crept. From Mecca to Medina the Prophet had gone. He travelled by night and rested by dawn. Soon Ali came to Medina too, to unite with his cousin, the last Rasul. The Prophet made progress to preach Islam. He also invited Christians from Narjan. The Christians and Muslims talked on and on. The Christians insisted that God had a son. On this point the two sides didn't agree, so Mubahila there was to be. From the Prophet's side 5 people went, 5 people whom God had sent, 1 heavenly lady and 4 pious men, the Prophet, Ali, Fatima and Hasnain. The 5 faces shone so radiantly that the Christians noticed this obviously, and so from Mubahila they declined as the wrath of God came to their mind. Ali was also one of the 5 under the Qissa with the Prophet, Hasnain and Fatima. Whoever loves them loves me. Blessings and purification I pray for thee. This is what the Prophet prayed for under the Qissa, for Ali, Hasnain and Fatima. The Prophet loved his Ahlul Bayt, and about them he often said, my Ahlul Bayt are the Ark of Noor, the boat that will help to save you. The strong rope of God that leads to the heavens from the fire of hell that menacingly threatens. The door of forgiveness, the purified ones, they will save fathers, mothers, daughters and sons. Ali fought many battles again and again, Badr, Uhud, Khandaq, Khaybar and Hunain. Prophet loved Ali, there is no doubt. On many occasions he pointed out, I am the city of knowledge and Ali is the gate. He is the most equitable judge, the embodiment of faith. On the Prophet's last pilgrimage to Mecca and back, the Prophet proclaimed on a camel's back, I must tell you something before I depart. My Ahlul Bayt and Quran will never part. But the most important thing for Muslims and Islam is to accept Ali as Mawla of those whose Mawla I am. Nare Haydari! On the morn of 19th Ramadan, when the Muazzin gave the call for Adhan, Ali knew that death was near, yet he went to the mosque without any fear. Suddenly a sword struck his head. By God, I've reached my aim, he said. Ibn Muljim did this dirty deed. He tried to escape and ran to his steed. He was caught and brought back to Ali, who ordered his ropes loose immediately. Distrust came over Ibn Muljim when Ali offered some juice to him. Ali looked sadly at the man. Then he said, "Oh Abdul Rahman, if you had taken this drink from me, up in heaven you'd be with me." In 2 more days Ali was dead. That was the day man really dread. For centuries now man has wept, but up in heaven Ali has slept. May Zainab, the writer, be blessed by Ali for this humble effort of poetry. Wassalam.
Salawat. MashaAllah, thank you, Shabar Qasim. Now we have Muhammad Damani.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers, sisters and respected elders. Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to talk about some short sayings of Imam Ali, starting with conceit. Conceit prevents the pursuit of perfection. Secret. He who withholds his secrets controls the options. Places of suspicion. He who frequents the places of suspicion must not complain if he is accused. Ignorance. People rally as enemies against things of which are ignorant. Patience. Anguish destroys him whom patience fails to save. Character. A man is known by the height and extent of his aspirations. His truthfulness is in measure with his honour, his valour with his dignity, his purity and continence with his self-respect. Day of Judgment. Blessed is he who remembered the return unto Allah, worked to account for his deeds, remained contented with just sufficient and pleased with his Creator. Contentment. Contentment is wealth inexhaustible. Charity. Never feel ashamed to give a little charity, for to deny or deprive is lesser still. Wisdom. There is no wealth like wisdom, no want like ignorance, no legacy like good breeding, and no aid like consultation. Wisdom exceeding wisdom has few words. A leader. Whoever possesses as a leader of the people must begin with self-discipline before educating others, and let his own conduct and bearing teach before his tongue does, and the master of self deserves better reverence. Miser. A miser surprises me. He runs away from poverty, but lives with it. He longs for affluence, but misses it. In this world he lives like a poor man, while in the next he will be judged among the rich. Distribution. O son of Adam, whatever you earn over and over your subsistence, you are its treasurer on behalf of the others.
Okay.
Worship.
You must tell me.
There are people who worship Allah with a desire for reward. They are like merchants who trade for profit, and some worship him with awe and fear. They are like slaves who obey to avoid punishment, and there are others who worship him to thank him and express gratitude. That is the way of free men. God. Where result plan fails, well-knit arrangements fritter away, and ambitions and aspirations remain unfulfilled. There I see Allah the glorious and his inscrutable way. Wealth. Two attendants share everyone's wealth, theirs and the eventualities. Honor. The honor of your countenance is intact till you abuse it by begging, so watch before you stoop so low. Contentment. Abandon hope for all that lies in the hands of people, and enter the realm of the greatest content. Sin. The greatest sin is the one considered small by its door. Wassalam.
Salawat. Thank you, Brother Muhammad Damani. Now I'd like to ask Abbas Hassan to present his piece.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, my fellow brothers, sisters and respected elders. I am here today to mention a few sayings of Imam Ali and a sermon on the greatness of Allah. Salawat. Treat people and live with them in such a manner that if you die, they will weep for you, but if you are alive, they will crave for your company. Often, the expressions on your face leak out the secrets of your hidden thoughts. Anyone who has done some good deed is better than his action, but anyone who has committed a bad deed is worse than the deed itself. One who is quick to say unpleasant things about others will make themselves a target of their own scandals. Optional prayers can't attain the pleasure of God when compulsory daily prayers are left unattended. Hearts of people are like wild birds. They attach themselves to those who love and train them. Whoever is deserted by friends or relatives will often find help and sympathy from strangers. A wise man's tongue is under the control of his mind, while a fool is under control of his tongue. One who imagines himself to be all-knowing will surely suffer on account of his ignorance. What refrains man is work. What is better than knowledge is experience. What kills man before death is despair. What is indeed more profitable than wealth is wisdom. People are the children of this world, and a man cannot be criticized for loving his mother. Giving in charity is a cure that works, and an action for the slaves that make things happen for them here, directing their attention towards their appointed time hereafter. Now here is a sermon on the greatness of Allah. Beware of comparison with the sublimateness of Allah in His greatness, and the simulation of respect of His might and power, for Allah surely abasses everyone who is mighty and powerful, and humiliates everyone who is conceited. I attained realization of Allah. May He be glorified by the dissolution of resolution, by the solution of complexities, uniting knots. I am amazed at the one who has doubts about Allah, when the creation of Allah is there for him to see. It is amazing that anyone can go into the garden of marvel at the power of Allah. Does this not contemplate of the one who has the power distract him from contemplating what he does with his power? Just marvel at man. He sees by means of gristle and speaks by means of flesh. He hears by means of bone and breathes by means of performation. Wassalam.
Thank you very much, Brother Abbas Hassan. And finally, for this little section, Sajjad Jaafferiya.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear brothers, sisters and respected elders in Islam, Assalamu alaikum. Salawat. Ali's martyrdom. Sleep reigned over the Kufan town, as from the mosque came a godly sound. The call for prayer filled the sky, moving the air with a gentle sigh, awakening Muslims with a gentle prod. O people, come and pray to God. And in the silent mosque, Ali stood alone, gazing at every wall and stone. He knew that these walls would be stained with blood, innocent, pious, saintly blood. Today his blood would be shed, these clean walls would be covered in red. He was eager for martyrdom, I am sure. It was then he heard a tiny snore. In a corner, a sleeper lay. Ali knew he had not come to pray. Gently Ali awoke the man. Awake, awake, O Abdul Rahman. Come, it is nearly time to pray. Awake for the coming day. I know your work, I know why you've come. Remember, your deed cannot be undone. Abdul Rahman nothing did say. Quickly he rose and walked away. Ali prepared for prayer as the Muslims came, ready to pray in Allah's name. Allahu Akbar, his voice began. Behind him stood Abdul Rahman. Allahu Akbar, Ali said again, and knelt before God with the other men. Suddenly Abdul Rahman moved forward to kill. His sword with poison was definitely filled. He raised his sword and struck it down. Confusion was there all around. Ali's neck was covered with blood, his head prostrated before his God. Abdul Rahman quickly ran. He was a scared and sinful man. And Ali reeled back, not crying out his pain. His blood-drenched lips spoke in Allah's name. His heart felt happy, his mind so light. He was finally ending his worldly life. His sons held him in their arms, as if to protect him from this physical harm. His smiling lips parted, and then he said, I thank thee, O Lord, for a martyr's death. Soon Abdul Rahman was brought before Ali. His state was terrible, Ali could see. His bonds were cutting deep in his skin, causing the blood to spurt from within. A frown seized Ali's brow. He ordered the bonds be loosened now. The murderer into tears broke. Ali smiled faintly, and then he spoke. It is not too late to repent, O Abdul Rahman. Was I an unjust or cruel Imam? Then to his sons Ali said, give him a drink to relieve his head. But Abdul Rahman did not trust Ali. He refused the drink quietly. Ali then spoke, O Abdul Rahman, why do you not trust your dying Imam? If you had taken this juice of mine, you'd be with me in heaven divine. In 2 more days Ali died, with his mourning family by his side, and the gates of heaven opened and welcomed him in. Free was he from any stain of sin. In the temporal sense Ali is gone, but his shining spirit and soul live on. But one day Ali will live heaven's domain, for sadness and misery and grief and pain. His horse's hooves will gallop away from heaven's open door, and touch the baking gold dust floor, to the land where there is naught but despair, where mutilated bodies will lie everywhere, and by a river a blood-drenched body will lie dead, sleeping the silent and sweet sleep of death. And where this body will lie asleep, Ali's sad eyes will silently weep. Then he will gallop towards the burnt-out camps and see a figure with sword in hand. Her hair will be silver and her face sad and old, as if within her she has griefs untold. Approaching him, this lady will say, "Turn your steed and go away." But inside Ali grief will burn. From this lady he will not turn. The lady his veiled face will not see. "Go, O stranger, listen to me." But when Ali will take his veil away, the lady will cry and suddenly say, "O my father, how late you have come. See the evil that has been done." And she will tell of her griefs and pain, and how she suffered in this wild terrain. And when Ali will leave this sultry plain, he will still be with Zainab in her trial of pain. For with tied hands and broken heart, she will bravely address those who had hurt her, and her words will hang the people's heads in shame, whilst her unshed tears will touch their hearts, like spears leaving the scars of grief and shame, to dwell forever in their inner selves. But in her every word they will remember Ali, whose every word echoed the truth, and the man whom they had thought was dead and gone will be alive and living in her once more. Wassalam.
MashaAllah. Thank you, Sajjad Jaafferiya. I'd like to thank all the young brothers. I'm sure you will agree that they have made a very powerful and valid contribution to our conference today. Moving on, next on the agenda should have been the keynote speech from Maulana Sayyid Muhammad Musawi, but I've been informed he's slightly delayed. So for that delay, we've asked our brother Tasawwur Hussain Shah, who's very kindly offered slightly altering our program. This recitation will not be in English, it will be in Urdu for a few minutes.
Brothers and sisters, میری طرف سے آپ سب کو سلام مبارک ہو، اور یہ کانفرنس میں جو موقع مجھے دیا گیا ہے میں ان کا بہت مشکور ہوں، اور خاص کر یہ جو ینگ جنریشن کو یہ تیار کر رہے ہیں، یہ ہمیں باعث خوشی، میں آپ کو اس بات کی مبارک دیتا ہوں کہ جتنے بھی جوانوں نے اس کانفرنس میں حصہ لیا ہے، بلکہ یہ جوان ایسٹ ہیم لندن تک اپنے اشتہار لے کے گئے تھے، اور انہوں نے بہت بھاگ دوڑ کے بعد یہ کانفرنس منعقد کی ہے. لہذا میں اپنی طرف سے اور اپنے امامیہ مشن کی طرف سے اور تمام مومنین کی طرف سے آپ کو مبارکباد دیتا ہوں. درود بر محمد و آل محمد. میں آپ کو چند ایک جناب محسن نقوی صاحب کی لکھی ہوئی روایات پیش کرنا چاہتا ہوں. نعرہ تکبیر، نعرہ رسالت، نعرہ حیدری. درود بر محمد و آل محمد. عرض خدمت ہے، میں چاہتا ہوں آج نیا اہتمام ہو. میں چاہتا ہوں آج نیا اہتمام ہو. یاسین کی شراب ہو، توحا کا جام ہو. پھوٹے سحر دلوں میں تو آنکھوں میں شام ہو. ہر رند کے لبوں پہ خدا کا کلام ہو. ہر دل سے آج بغض کا کانٹا نکال دے. دنیا کی خواہشوں کو جہنم میں ڈال دے. درود بر محمد و آل محمد. ساغر میں حل عطا کی کرن گھول کر پلا. یہ مولا علی کی شان میں لکھے ہیں انہوں نے. ساغر میں حل عطا کی کرن گھول کر پلا. سر پر لوائے حمد خدا کھول کر پلا. چپ چپ سا کیوں ہے آج تو ہنس بول کر پلا. رندوں کا ظرف پوری طرح تول کر پلا. ساغر میں آج اتنی مقدس شراب ہو. پی لیں گناہگار تو حج کا ثواب ہو. درود بر محمد و آل محمد. ساغر اٹھا کہ چھائی گھٹا جھوم جھوم کر، آئی ہوا نجف کے دریچوں کو چوم چوم کر. ساقی حریم دل میں منور نجوم کر، رندوں کو واقف در باب علوم کر. ہم کو پلا وہی جو ولا کی شراب ہو، وہ میں جو اولیاء کے لیے انتخاب ہو. کھول ایسا میں قدا جو حرم سے بھی کبھی نہ ہو کم نہ ہو. کھول ایسا میں قدا جو حرم سے بھی کم نہ ہو، جس کی حدوں پہ بندش لوح و قلم نہ ہو. جس کی فضا میں کوئی فسوں محترم نہ ہو، ساغر شراب کا کوئی جام جم نہ ہو. ہمراہ تو رہے تو کوئی رنج و غم نہیں، ورنہ تیرے فقیر سکندر سے کم نہیں. درود بر محمد و آل محمد. بارے دیگر صلوات پڑھیے. یہ ایک بابا صدا حسین صاحب کا کلام جو کہ مجھے پرسوں ڈاک میں لاہور سے آیا ہے، موصول ہوا ہے. تو یہ مولا علی کی شان میں چند ایک انہوں نے موتی بکھیرے ہیں. آپ درود پڑھیں، میں پیش کرتا ہوں. لکھتے ہیں نہیں ہوتی گناہگاروں پہ رحمت، نہیں ہوتی گناہگاروں پہ رحمت، ہو بھی سکتی ہے. محبت ہو علی سے تو شفاعت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. محبت ہو علی سے تو شفاعت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. ہے ارشاد نبی ذکر علی عین عبادت ہے. ہے ارشاد علی ذکر علی عین عبادت ہے. نہ ہو حب علی باطل عبادت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. درود بر محمد و آل محمد. لکھتے ہیں نہیں ہوں عابد و زاہد مگر دیوانہ مولا. نہیں ہوں عابد و زاہد مگر دیوانہ مولا. علی کے ذکر سے میری طہارت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. لکھتے ہیں میری منزل تو ہے دیوانگی کی حد سے بھی آگے. میری منزل تو ہے دیوانگی کی حد سے بھی آگے. یہی منزل نصیری کی علامت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. لکھتے ہیں خداوندہ میرا مولا نصیری کا خدا کیوں ہے. خداوندہ میرا مولا نصیری کا خدا کیوں ہے. ندا آئی کہ یہ میری مشیت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. درود بر محمد و آل محمد. لکھتے ہیں بشر میں کب یہ طاقت ہے کہ وہ سورج کو لوٹ آئے. بشر میں کب یہ طاقت ہے کہ وہ سورج کو لوٹ آئے. مگر آقا علی حیدر میں طاقت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. نعرہ حیدری. لکھتے ہیں علی کا نام لے کر مشکلوں میں پھر نہیں لیتا. علی کا نام لے کر مشکلوں میں پھر نہیں لیتا. یہ عادت تیری دوزخ کی علامت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. نہیں کرتے کسی پر ہم تبرہ، ہم نہیں کرتے. نہیں کرتے کسی پر ہم تبرہ، ہم نہیں کرتے. جو دشمن ہو علی کے ان پہ لعنت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. نبی کو چھوڑ کر بھاگے ہیں ناممکن، ہے ناممکن، ہے ممکن. یہ پرانی ان کی عادت ہو بھی سکتی ہے. لکھتے ہیں نبی तन्हा सदा देते रहे मफरूर ना लौटे। नबी से उनको दर पर्दा अदावत हो भी सकती है। आखिरी मक्ताज करता हूं, लिखते हैं नबी के मुंह छुपाते ही खुले उगते मोहब्बत के। नबी के मुंह छुपाते ही खुले उगदे मोहब्बत के। न थी उम्मीद उम्मत बेमुरव्वत हो भी सकती है। दरूद पर मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद।
I'd like to thank Brother Tasahar Hussain Shah for his contribution to the conference. I'd like to move on now to the next item on our agenda. I'm pleased to introduce to you a group of brothers who will inshallah be reciting Hasidas in English to you. They are known as Dawn, the Dawn. Brother Abdullah Al-Mukais, Brother Manouar, and Brother Muhammad. So inshallah they will be performing their piece very shortly for you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The dawn of the new world. Oh, the light, surely it was unfurled with the revelation of the Holy Quran. Came emancipation for every man. The dawn of the new world. Oh, the light, surely it was unfurled with the revelation of the Holy Quran. Came emancipation for every man. The justice of Allah created the purest and brightest star, the mercy for mankind and the hope of the pure ones, Muhammad Rasulullah. The battles blessed Ahmad fought, the methods and lessons that he taught, gave enslaved ones their freedom to inherit the kingdom and never bow down to any man. The times, oh the times, surely they have changed, yet the message of truth it still remains. The only future and path for all mankind is held in the words of the Quran. The troubles of the Ummah now relate to our pride and the hearts that won't bow. But the only way to ensure Allah's victory is to stand firm in unity, to call unto Allah's way. It is our duty and the path to repay all the blessings and mercy our Creator has shown us by giving new life every day. Forgetful surely we have been, too easily fell into material dreams, as we strive for this dunya and forget Allah's ummah, the women and children call and scream. the lands that belong to us. The most precious of them is Holy Quds, has been stolen and plundered, left us tortured and murdered, while the world simply stands with its smile. The victory will be so fine, no enemy's plot will ever confine, no foul coward traitor will ever divide us. We'll stand unified till our graves. The future lies in unity. For the sake of Allah and the poor we seek, as brothers and sisters, no force can resist us. Our victory is Allah's guarantee. Rejoice, rejoice at the news we bring. Throughout the world it's echoing. No foe can annoy us, corrupt or destroy us, for the Ummah is awakening. For the Ummah is awakening. For the Ummah is awakening. صلى على محمد وآل محمد. Ali, 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 the hope and salvation of all the muttaqeen. Ali, 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 the guide and the leader of all the mu'mineen. The path of true wisdom, the gate to an-Nabi, a light of the Ummah for all the world to see. The joy of Muhammad, the closest to his heart, the first of believers, Mujahid from the start. Ali, 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 the hope and salvation of all the muttaqeen. Ali, 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 the guide and the leader of all the mu'mineen. The path of true wisdom, the gate to an-Nabi, a light of the Ummah for all the world to see. The joy of Muhammad, the closest to his heart, the first of believers, Mujahid from the start. Ali, 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 the light of the Ummah, Amir al-Mu'mineen, was born for to guide us, Imam al-Muttaqeen. The earth it rejoiced in a blessing for mankind. No man except Mustafa superior would find. Protector of Muhammad to lie where he lay. To misguide assassins Ali would not delay. To ensure the message of Allah was his aim. To help and work for Islam, to free the world from pain. Ali, 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 the hope and salvation of all the muttaqeen. Ali, 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 the guide and the leader of all the mu'mineen. The path of true wisdom, the gate to an-Nabi, a light of the Ummah for all the world to see. The joy of Muhammad, the closest to his heart, the first of believers, Mujahid from the start. Ali, 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 the enemy of mushriks, of kafirs and Yahud, the friend of the poor one and all of the good. He fought against the wicked and all munafiqeen. He fought with Allah's ummah for all mustad'afeen. The sword of Dir'ani is a sword of true might. The sword of true Islam's a sword of pure light. The message of Allah continued by Ali to lead all the mu'min to Muhammadun Nabi. Aliyun, 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 Ali. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The hope and salvation of all the muttaqeen. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The guide and the leader of all the mu'mineen. The path of true wisdom, the gate to an-Nabi. A light of the ummah for all the world to see. The joy of Muhammad, the closest to his heart. The first of believers, mujahid from the start. Aliyun, 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 Ali. And now we celebrate him, we call out his name. He gave his blessed children Hassan and Hussein. No act of self-indulgence against him could claim. He called for all believers to free themselves of pain. The heirs of Muhammad and blessed Ali are the ummah of Islam around the world we see. To prove that we love them, mujahids we must be. To hold the rope of Allah and call for unity. Unity, 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 unity. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The hope and salvation of all the muttaqeen. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The guide and the leader of all the mu'mineen. The path of true wisdom, the gate to an-Nabi. A light of the ummah for all the world to see. The joy of Muhammad, the closest to his heart. The first of believers, mujahid from the start. Aliyun, 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 Ali. And now we celebrate him, we call out his name. He gave his blessed children Hassan wal Hussein. No act of self-indulgence against him could claim. He called for all believers to free themselves from pain. The heirs of Muhammad and blessed Ali are the ummah of Islam around the world we see. To prove that we love them, mujahids we must be. To hold the rope of Allah and call for unity. Unity, 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 unity. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The hope and salvation of all the muttaqeen. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The guide and the leader of all the mu'mineen. The path of true wisdom, the gate to an-Nabi. A light of the ummah for all the world to see. The joy of Muhammad, the closest to his heart. The first of believers, mujahid from the start. Aliyun, 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 Ali. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The hope and salvation of all the muttaqeen. Aliyun, 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 Ali. The guide and the leader of all the mu'mineen. The path of true wisdom, the gate to an-Nabi. A light of the ummah for all the world to see. The joy of Muhammad, the closest to his heart. The first of believers, mujahid from the start. Aliyun, 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 Ali. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
I'd like to thank the Dawn very much for their presentation. That was Brother Abdullah, Brother Munawar and Brother Muhammad. Can I please bring to your notice that the Dawn have in fact recorded and released several titles on Noha and Qasidas in English, and today they are available from the bookshop. So if you are interested, then they can be purchased. Wondering what the relevance of a drama at Imam Ali conference would be, but inshallah in the next 20 or 30 minutes you will realize the contribution of our youngsters and the relevance of the drama itself. The drama is entitled A Tale of Pitta in Humus. It has been written by, once again, a regular contributor to the Discover Islam program, Brother Hasnain Walji. It has been produced and directed mainly by Brother Qasim Jaffer, who you see on my right hand side, ably abetted and assisted by brothers Mustafa Jaffar and Safdar Jaffar. Qasim will in fact take you through the play itself, so I'd kindly ask you to recite Salawat and welcome Qasim. Salawat.
The setting of our play this afternoon is a remote town of Humus in the district of Pita, where ignorance and complacency are the order of the day. With respect to the population of Humus, these people are simple folk, and although they follow Islamic lives, their principles are based on misconceived notions. They are a community who are totally lulled into a false sense of security. They are a community who are set in their distorted ways. And indeed, life goes on smoothly for them until one day a traveler appears.
So, this is the town of Homus. I must find a mosque. It's time for Zohar. But I must be careful. I was warned that this is a very strange place. I was told that each time you ask a question in this town, instead of replying, they ask you a question in return. Excuse me, could you tell me the truth that there's a custom in this town that each time you ask a question, they ask you a question in return?
Who told you that?
I see what they mean. Tell me, my good man, could you tell me the way to the mosque, please?
Why do you want to know?
Never mind, I'll just find it myself.
يشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
I must go this way.
يشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
يشهد أن محمد رسول الله. Is nothing sacred? Have they changed the adhan too? Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Is your leg hurt or what? Why are you trying to pray with 1 foot raised? Or is it a new fatwa that I'm not aware of?
No, it is nothing like that. I stepped on some najasat on the way to the mosque. I was just trying to make sure that the najasat did not touch the mosque carpet.
Oh really? What an ingenious idea. Says you change your socks, I suppose. But pray, what excuse do you have to offer for this muazzin who cannot even recite adhan correctly?
Excuse? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Look here, you seem like a stranger and probably are not aware of the ways of this town.
You mean praying with 1 foot raised and reciting incorrect adhan, special ways of this town?
Look here, I only explained things once. I've already told you why I was resting my foot on the stool.
And what about the adhan? Yashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah.
Well, if you really must know, our full-time paid muazzin is on holiday. We had to search the town for a replacement, and the only person we found was a Jew. So it is quite understandable that he says, Yashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, which means they believe that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah.
I must go and find the Imam in Jummah of this town to report this matter.
As you can see, these people are simple-minded individuals, yet staunch in their practices, which lack basic understanding of Islamic concept. But this is not all. Our traveler is yet to experience even worse. His next stop is the Imam Jummah.
strange place. Now they're trying to bury a man who not only is alive, but swears that he's alive. Halt, in the name of Allah, please, halt.
Do you not know who I am? I am the Imam al-Jum'ah in the district of Pitta in the town of Humus. We must bury this man before Safain, and then I must go and lead Jum'ah. How dare you delay me in my duties? Who are you?
I am only a traveller, a small trader. But I have been seeking you to report some matters about the Imam Jamaat and the Muazzin in the town of Pitta. But what I see here baffles me even more.
Hurry up, stranger. Enough of this idle talk. What baffles you?
You again? He's changed his socks.
Forget this idle talk.
But this man that you're going to bury swears that he's alive.
Yes, I know that.
Then why are you going to bury him?
You must come from a very uncivilized place. Have you never heard of the concept of ijma? In the Western world, it is called democratic consensus.
I'm not just baffled. Nay, I'm perplexed. Please enlighten me, O learned one. Why in God's name do you want to bury a living man?
Yes, answer it. Look, it is so simple. All these people think he is dead. He is the only one who thinks he is alive. Now tell me, can so many people be wrong and one person be right? Now please, clear the way. We are getting late. It is not good to be late for Jum'ah. No! No!
Well, I've tried the Imam Jamaat and the Muazzin. I've tried them. Imam Jum'ah of the town, I've tried. Who else is there left? Aha, Qadi. I must report it to him, because the great injustices are being done here.
Well, how ignorant can one get? Burying a man who is still alive and justifying that through ijma, because everyone says so? Our traveller has been to the Imam Jum'ah. He has been to the Imam Jamaat, but all in vain. So who does he go to next?
Order. The court is now in session.
Will the plaintiff please identify himself?
My name is Abu Musa and I'm a resident of Pitta in the town of Humus. I would like to lodge a complaint against my travelling companion Abu Ibrahim.
Please carry on.
Abu Ibrahim and I were travelling back to Humus on the 4th of Rajab when we stopped on the way for prayers and rest. Abu Ibrahim had brought some bread and so had I. I had 5 loaves of bread and Abu Ibrahim had 3. As we sat down to eat, a stranger passed by and stopped. He seemed hungry and tired, so we both invited him to join us.
That was very noble of you.
After we had finished eating, he put down 8 dirhams and said this was a compensation for the food that he ate. When he had left, I told Abu Ibrahim that he should have 3 dirhams for the share of the 3 loaves that he contributed, and that I should keep 5 for the 5 loaves that I gave. But he disputed and said the money should be shared out equally. So we have brought this case before you to settle our dispute.
You are right. But O Qazi, how can you be right? This is not fair. Since we invited the traveller and decided to share our food, if we profited from this, then we should get equal shares of 4 dirham each. You are right.
Let's pray, O Qadi. How can they both be right?
You are right too.
Oh Qadi, what kind of judgment is that? I say they're both wrong.
But how can they both be wrong?
I say they're both wrong because 5 dirhams should be given to Abu Musa, 7 dirhams should be given to Abu Musa, who contributed 5 loaves, and 1 dirham to Abu Ibrahim, who contributed 3 loaves.
But how can they both be wrong? Either the share is 5 to one and 3 to the other, or an equal share of 4 to each.
You are right.
Oh Qadi, when I came to this town, I wondered the antics of the Imam Jamaat and the Imam Jum'ah in the town of Pitta. And I came to seek you as the highest authority for all the great injustices. But now that I've seen you adjudicate, I'm not at all surprised.
Do not change the subject. Tell us, how did you arrive at the formula of 7 to 1?
Obviously, you've never read Kitab al-Irshad.
Court scribe, bring me Kitab al-Irshad.
Well, there's a precedent in this, recorded by Sheikh Mufid. It says, this is a matter in which meanness and rivalry is not proper. Reconciliation would be better. The one who had 3 loaves insisted that, I will only be satisfied by your giving judgment. Since you will only be satisfied by giving your judgment, said Amir al-Mu'mineen, you have 1 of 8 dirhams and your companion 7. May God be praised, he exclaimed. How can this matter come to be like that? I've told you, he said. Didn't you have 3 loaves? Yes, he answered. And your companion 5? Yes. That is 24 when multiplied by 3, he said. So you ate 8, your companion 8, and your guest 8. Thus he gave you 8 dirhams, 7 of which belonged to your companion, as he supplied 7/8 of the guest's food, and 1 to you, as you supplied 1/8 of the guest's food.
No, I don't understand. Court scribe, prepare a demonstration.
Okay. 5 loaves. Abu Musa had 5 loaves, right? And Abu Ibrahim had 3. Each of them were cut into 3 pieces. Therefore, Abu Musa had 15 pieces and Abu Ibrahim had 9 pieces. Since in total there are 24 pieces, then there are 3 people, 8 pieces were given to each person. Now Abu Musa ate 8 of his pieces, leaving him with 7 pieces, which he gave to the guest. And Abu Ibrahim had 9 pieces and ate 8 and left 1 for the guest. Therefore, Abu Musa gave 7 pieces to the guest, so she gets 7 dirhams. And Abu Ibrahim gave 1 piece, therefore she get 1 dirham. Now there you have it, Qadi.
Yes, I can see the light. Praise Amir al-Mu'mineen. Ya Ali!
So there you have it. As you can see, all it needs is a little education. And what better school than the school of Ahlul Bayt? And what better teacher than Ali ibn Abi Talib? And now I would like to introduce each of the caste members. Yasir Darsi, who played the Traveller. Bilal Hassan, who played the Passerby. Muhammad Sadiq Mamdani, who played the Imam-e-Jama. Raza Kadiwal, who played the dead man, who is very much alive. Abid Ali Alibai, who played the Imam-e-Juma. Muhammad Akil Kanani, who played the plaintiff. Muhammad Ali Kadiwal, who played the defendant. And finally, Amar Hassan, who played the faithful bodyguard. Can we have a loud Nare Salawat for these cast members? And I missed out the Ghazi, Samir Abidi. Can we have a loud Nare Salawat for them, please? I'd also like to thank Hasnain Walji, who wrote this script, and all members of the Idara organization who made this event possible. Thank you.
I would also like to thank the young brothers on behalf of Discover Islam for their performance here today, and I'm sure you'll agree they've made a very valid and forceful contribution to our conference. MashaAllah. Continuing in the same vein regarding the judgments of Imam Ali, which you have seen distributed as an example here, I would now like to ask Brother Murtaza Laka to deal with some more aspects of Imam Ali's popular judgments. Salawat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, you just witnessed the intellectual prowess of Imam Ali alayhi salam in his art of delivering judgments. And you had a first-hand experience of his mathematical acumen. I was supposed to continue in the same vein. No little problem to do that, for the books are full of experiences the Arabs of the time had of his intellectual acumen. And to continue with yet one another example, I remind you of the incident of the three partners who decided to dissolve. The partnership was to be dissolved, and they divided whatever they could amongst themselves. They suddenly found they are left with one asset, 17 camels. Three partners dividing 17 camels. And the shares were such that the majority partner had 50% share, the second partner had a third share, and the third partner had 1/9 of a share in the partnership. How do they divide the 17 camels amongst them? How do they split them into 2 and a third and a 9th? Yet they said they wouldn't let a single camel be slaughtered. They, perhaps in keeping with the theory of capital conservation, decided they will carry their shares of the capital intact. But how do they then distribute the camels? The rest was easy to divide. They decided that judgment on such a mathematical problem can only lie in the commercial court of Hazrat Amir alayhi salam. And when they visited him, he gladly entertained the problem. He said, I have but one condition, and my condition is, you allow me to add my camel also to your 17 for the purposes of computation. And why should they refuse? And when the camels became 18, Hazrat Ali turns to the majority partner and says, you have half a share in the 18, so how many camels are yours? Gladly he says 9. Now he gets half of 18 instead of half of 17. Why should he refuse? Hazrat Ali alayhi salam says, take your 9 camels and go. He reverts to the second partner and says, your share is a third. How much is a third of 18? And he says 6. Hazrat Ali says, will you accept 6? And he says, gladly, I'm getting more than what I was getting on my due share. He takes the 6 camels and goes. There are 3 camels left. Hazrat Ali alayhi salam turns to the minority shareholder and says, what is 1/9 of 18? And he says, I am happy to take my 2 camels away. And Hazrat Ali takes his 18th away back to himself. Thus was mathematical acumen employed so skillfully in administering justice in a commercial matter. But then, let it not be assumed, but Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad salawat. Let it not be assumed that that acumen of that giant of a judge remained confined to the field of mathematics. If the world of today takes pride in its forensic investigation, let us examine a couple of examples of how Hazrat Amir alayhi salam employed forensic skills in determining justice between litigants. The first example that I would like to give straight away is the one which you, inshallah, all of you have well experienced. When you go to Masjid Kufa, you hear of this incessantly. The moment you enter the masjid, as you know, through Babul Field, and you've said your prayers at Maqam Ibrahim and Maqam Idris, the next platform you come to is Daqqatul Qadha and Baytul Tasht. Daqqatul Qadha was the platform where Hazrat Amir alayhi salam in his days of Khilafah in Kufa used to dispense justice in his court. And one day a lady was brought there. A lady was brought by her brothers, by the way, and they said to Hazrat Amir alayhi salam, this is a virgin sister of ours.